You may recognize this guy, Mel Fisher. And let me read a couple paragraphs from his website. Mel Fisher, a dreamer, a visionary, a legend, and most importantly, the world's greatest treasure hunter. Maybe second only to Indiana Jones. Mel Fisher did what many have not. He realized his dream during his lifetime. Every day he insisted, today's the day. His mantra continues to inspire the search for the rest of the treasure from, and Marjorie, I may need your help here, Nuestra Sonora
Our Lady.
Our Lady de Atocha, A-T-O-C-H-A, Atocha. And, I got this one, I think, the Santa Margarita. The Spanish galleons that sank during a hurricane on September 6, 1622 near Key West. Mel Fisher suffered many personal losses to keep his dream alive during his 16-year search and endured over 100 court battles which ended in victory in the U.S. Supreme Court. The riches Mel Fisher, his team, and investors had worked so hard for all those years were finally theirs. The $450 million treasure cache, or Atocha motherlode, would be found on that momentous day, July 20th, 1985. Over 40 tons of silver and gold were located, including over 100,000 Spanish silver coins known as pieces of 8, gold coins, Colombian emeralds, silver and gold artifacts, and over 1,000 silver bars.
Wow.
The immensity of the Atocha's treasure is staggering. What was only a dream instantly became an undeniable reality. The fact that Mel Fisher found his treasure and fulfilled his dream is astounding enough. Over $450 million in gold, silver, and emeralds. But what makes it all the more amazing is what he suffered and what he gave up and what he sacrificed in order to do it. He took a lot of criticism, ridicule, cost him a lot of money, 16 years of searching. But he considered all the trouble, all the sacrificing. He considered the cost nothing compared to the enormous treasure he found. Mel Fisher did on a grand scale what you and I do every day and in numerous ways. We ask, is it worth it? Whether we do it consciously or not, we do a cost-benefit analysis numerous times every day to help us make decisions. Cost-benefit, sometimes called risk-reward, positives and negatives. For instance, to make a decision about a meal, we count the calories, we count the carbs, we count trans fats, we consider fiber, and then taste and the cost, and we ask, is it worth it? Cost benefits. To buy a car, we consider the gas mileage, safety ratings, resale value, appearance, the potential use, and we ask, is it worth it? To buy a house, we consider location, or as realtors like to say, location, location, location. And the design, and the size, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, how many baths, we consider the neighbors, the asking price, the mortgage rates. Is it worth it? In a relationship and in marriage, We consider appearance, mutual interests, compatibility, a shared vision for the future, previous marriages, similar backgrounds. Women tend to consider potential. I know, he's in jail and he has a long prison record, but he's got great potential. Do you share values, and do you share similar faith? And you ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it for me to commit myself to share my life with this person? And we may not like to think that we think cost, benefit, risk, reward, but we do all the time. About a new work opportunity, a new job opportunity. Okay, what are the benefits and what's the downsides? What's the cost going to be? We do it all the time. We can hardly make a decision without, at some level, asking that question. What is the cost? What are the potential benefits? Jesus invites us to ask the same question when we think about becoming his followers. He says, count the cost. In this Luke passage, he does a really remarkable thing. He actually discourages wannabe disciples from joining him and his followers. The first one says, I'll follow you wherever you go. And Jesus said, really? You don't know what you're saying. Are you ready to leave comfort and convenience for discomfort, inconvenience, and for sleeping under the stars? Translated, homelessness. The second man, Jesus invited him to join his community of wandering missionaries. The man immediately disqualified himself with the word, but. But, Lord, first, let me go and bury my father. That may seem harsh, it may seem cruel, but what Jesus is saying is putting any job, task, or relationship first puts Jesus at least second. And that's unacceptable if we are going to call him Lord. Still another said, I will follow you, but first, it doesn't matter what comes after, but first, he said to Jesus, not now. Which Jesus knew meant not ever. See, a follower is different from a fan. A fan respects Jesus, admires Jesus, likes Jesus, until there is opposition or hardship or disappointment. John Mark was with Barnabas and Paul on Paul's first missionary journey for a while. And then things got too hard. And Mark did a 180. Some people say he did a 360, but he did a 180. And he said, no more. This is too hard for me. I'm going home. And Paul said the same thing about Demas in his letter to Timothy. Because he loved this world, he deserted me and has gone to Thessalonica. Crescens has gone to Galatia, and Titus to Dalmatia. Only Luke is with me. They were fans of the Apostle Paul. They weren't followers of Jesus. And you know about fans, you know about fair weather fans. They cheer for their team until the team loses about 6 games in a row. And then they start looking for another team, a better team to cheer for. Like I tell my baseball friends, anybody can love the Yankees. Anybody can be a Yankee fan. That's not hard. But to be an Indians fan takes character and strength and a lot of patience.
Not like a Cubs fan, though.
Yeah, well, you got Cubs, some of the teams, but diehard fans are the followers. Followers are consistent. They're true blue. The team loses 6 in a row, 10 in a row. They lose every game. But a follower's loyalty never wavers.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus invites us to be followers, not fans. In fact, he discourages fans who have that initial burst of energy and fervor, but who don't stick it out. When the walk becomes challenging, difficult, when they become misunderstood, or when there's opposition by family and friends. What's the price tag on following Jesus? What is the cost of discipleship? 2 words. Your life. That's what it costs to be a follower. That's what it costs to be a disciple. Not a fan, that's something else. That's another category. But to be a follower takes our life. No negotiating, no holding back, no secret behaviors. It means we are willing to give up anything and everything to follow Jesus. There is no, but Lord, or there is no, but first. There is only, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. There are no part-time followers of Jesus. Being a follower of Jesus is at the same time total and progressive. Keep that in mind. That is, we give ourselves completely. Then as God reveals areas in our lives that we are holding back, we release and reject those things in order to free ourselves from any hindrance to total followership, to complete discipleship. So at the same time, it's total, but it's also progressive. One of the most compelling and constant questions followers of Jesus have to ask is, what am I holding back? What is holding me back? What fears? What relationships? What behaviors? What secrets? What sins are inhibiting my intimacy with the Savior? The pain of giving up, the pain of surrender of self, the pain of letting go will not compare with the joy of God's pleasure in us. The pain of letting go and of sacrifice will not compare with the reward, with the treasure. I want to close with this verse from Hebrews chapter 12. Verse 2, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, not glance at Jesus. Let us focus our attention on Jesus, the author and perfecter, or author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. See, Jesus saw the cross. He felt the cross. He was familiar with the cross as a symbol of death. Our symbol of death to self. But he looked beyond the cross, beyond sacrifice, beyond death. He looked to the reward. He looked to the treasure, to the joy of God's pleasure, worth infinitely more than $450 million in gold, silver, and emeralds. Yes, it is worth it. We will have finished the race, and the reward for our victory will be the joy of our Father. Yes, it is worth it. The reward, the treasure, is unimaginable. No price tag. Let's close with a song that celebrates the love of Jesus.